to highlight some of the things that I did during the course of my ownership over the past year. Starting with the coolant flush and replacement. You can see nice red coolant. The air filter was replaced. The mass airflow sensor was cleaned. The throttle body was cleaned carefully using the car care nuts method. I didn't spray a whole can of carb cleaner in there. You just get a wet cloth, you wet it with the carb cleaner, and then you gently wipe the edges of the throttle body along with the plate. You don't need to spray a whole bunch of cleaner in there. The battery was from the previous owner. The date code on it is November 2022, so it's a recent battery. I, of course, changed the oil twice already. Synthetic 5W30. The 4 ignition coils and the spark plugs. The spark plugs were changed about 25,000 miles ago, and they still looked good. They weren't fouled, of course. The ignition coils work just fine, no misfires. What else? Oh, that plug over there, down by the transmission. Let's see if I can get it in the video. Yeah, it's over here. So that plug down there, that's to fill the transmission fluid. I, of course, drained and refilled it with a Redline MT90. It's generally the best fluid that I found to work with manual transmissions, usually pretty smooth shifting. The oxygen sensors were the original with the car. I get about 32 miles a gallon on the freeway in mixed city and freeway driving, spirited. The last tank I got was 28.3 miles a gallon. When I changed the oil, I drained about 3.5 quarts out. You never get all of it out, so I don't think there's any evidence of any oil burning. Certainly there wasn't any on the spark plugs, and certainly none on the tailpipe either. So these engines are, so a lot of people talk about the precats failing. I did not gut the precats. The reason for that is because I don't have any oil consumption. What happens is when you have oil consumption, the oil gets burned, causes accelerated breakdown of the pre-catalyst in the exhaust manifold, and then as part of the combustion cycle, particles of the pre-cat get sucked back in and into the cylinder, and they cause additional scoring on the cylinder walls, and then you end up burning more oil in the process. So the best thing that you can do with these engines is to, of course, change your oil using high quality 5-weight 30 synthetic, and be sure to do it every 5,000 miles, or at a minimum a year, ideally 6 months if you're driving it a lot. But if you don't drive it a lot, then at least once a year or 5,000 miles, whichever one comes first. What else did I do? I replaced the belt with a Gates belt, though it was the original belt before, so I changed it. It's still the original alternator. Also, the car, when I got it, had a leaking, can't see it here, had a leaking O-ring around the timing chain tensioner. So I replaced the O-ring. If you notice, I have removed the underside covers so that I could take a video of the underside of the engine bay as well. So let me get under here. Hopefully you can see the original factory exhaust. You can see some of the alignment adjusting bolts. Of course, everything's original. Minimal rust. Extremely superficial. Let me get underneath here. And of course, let's see if I can get my finger there. This point here is the drain plug for the transmission fluid, and you fill it back from the top. Let me get underneath over here so you can take a look and see here. The axle boots are original and in good shape. Certainly all the bushings are in good shape. That's of course the oil pan, and I'll try and get underneath on the other side to show you. I only use Toyota genuine filters. They don't cost a lot. They do a good job. I don't see why there's any reason to get an aftermarket one, but people have their own preferences, so that's cool.